Okay, everybody. Well, thanks for being here. My name is Tony Procopio. I am logging in from New Fairfield, Connecticut. I'm one of the founding advisors here and regional partner with Think Plus, along with my business partners, Jim, Brendan, and Ed Kenny, and our spouses and significant others. And always excited to share with you guys on Tuesdays, just some kind of just minute, small mini trainings, I guess, if you want to call it that. We look at topics that come up throughout the week. And, summer is upon us. And what happens during the summer, if you haven't been in this industry for a very long time, like I've been in the energy space for a dozen years. And what I can tell you is that when it comes to electricity supply rates, which we have a lot of states where we offer electricity supply, I can tell you this, that most of the states, the rates are based on natural gas because natural gas is what actually powers most of the electricity in most of our markets. So electricity is produced by natural gas burning facilities, right? That's where most electricity comes from. And because of that, okay, the overall price of electricity goes way, way up because there's supply and demand. And in the winter, when the demand is way, way up, it forces prices up in the winter. And that's what you see across the board. You'll see that happen across the board. And so when natural gas is in low demand during the summer, rates tend to come down. And that's what we see. That's how it's been every year for the past 50 years. If you haven't noticed, electricity rates are generally across the board very high in the winter and then lower in the summer. And so at times there are different types of things that happen in markets to bring the price of electricity down to where there isn't a lot of margin for companies that are supply companies to buy energy and create these massive discounts, which can happen in the winter, and it gets a little bit closer and slimmer in the summer. So some people, they just market based on price only. And so if you're going to market just based on price only and just say, hey, I can save you 20%, I can save you 30%, I can save you 40%, and that's what you're teaching your team to do, then you're going to have areas in your times in your business where you're going to have people go crazy bringing in customers. And when the rates are very high and there's a high margin, there's a high savings. And then in the summer, when the rates come down, your team is going to stop gathering customers because all they've been taught to do is sell electricity, and gather customers based on a rate. So if you sell by the rate, you're going to die by the rate. And so I like to point that out to people. And it's one of the reasons why when we're training people and teaching people what we're doing, we help them to understand that there's going to be times when you're saving people a lot of money. There's going to be times when you're saving people a little bit of money. And you want to be able to get customers at both times. So inviting people to be your customer, right? That's one of the things that we teach people. We teach them all the time. We do this on our Saturday trainings every Saturday. And if you notice the words that we have in there, we're not talking about asking people to be our customer based on a percentage savings. Okay, we want to gather those customers in our first 24 to 40 hours. That's right. Become your own first customer. And of course, you're going to be. And then our friends and family. This is how we gather our customers. We talk to people we know, friends, family, coworkers, people we work with, people that are acquaintances, our neighbors, people we do business with. And what do we say? We train on this all the time. Hi, mom, dad, neighbor, pizza restaurant owner that I spend money with. If I can save you a little bit of money and it's not going to cost you anything, it won't inconvenience you, and it would be really important to me because I'm looking to put some money away for my granddaughter's college fund, would you try out my service? That's what we teach people to do. We don't teach people. See, when there's savings, that's like sometimes there's 20, 30, 40% savings. We just came off of a period of time for 6 months in the state of Connecticut where I am, where we were saving customers 40%. But I never taught anyone, and we don't teach people to go out and say, hey, if I can save you 40%, would you do me a favor? Would you be my customer if I can save you 40%? I wouldn't do that. Can you do it? Sure. But I don't teach that, and I wouldn't do that. I would instead say, if I can save you a little bit of money, it's not going to cost you anything and it won't inconvenience you. Would you try out my service? It would be really important to me. And then once you sign them up, tell them what the savings would be, but don't change your approach based on savings, whether it's a little bit or a lot. It's the same approach over and over and over again. And again, people that you do business with, and we know the training. I'm not going to go through all the details of that, but I wanted to set that up because now I want to talk to you about how you actually can utilize tools that we have and methodology, so that you can continue, you and your team can continue to thrive and expand no matter what the rates are, as long as there's a little bit of savings. I mean, we're not going to ask our customers to sign up for more. Right now, there may be times where our rate, just because utility rates, the utility companies buy at a certain time, we buy at a certain time, there's all different factors. There might be times where we may not have a savings. And so we just won't gather customers when that's the case, right? Unless we provide additional value to them that goes beyond just what the actual rate shows. Okay, because there's some things that we can talk about with customers that allow us to gather customers, even if it's razor thin, or even sometimes when our published rate is higher than what the utility company is, but because we have some add-ons, some value add-ons, we can actually bring those customers in by utilizing these tools. So using the rate comparison guide for electricity, this is why Think Energy puts it out there. Every month it gets put out on the first of the month. It gets updated usually throughout the day on the first of the month. And then by the second, it's accurate. It's ready to go. Okay. And these rates are published. They show you. And you can find this, by the way, do we have that on here? I thought I had a little, yeah, there you go. It's located in your web office under tools, and then documents and media, and then rate comparison guide. So that's where you find this. Everybody, on the first of each month, you and your team should be going to your web office and downloading this. I keep it on my phone. I send it out to advisors. I send it out to people that are looking to become customers. Why wouldn't you? Right? It shows the current utility residential rate. It shows the current residential utility rate and when it's going to expire. And then when we have it available, it shows the future rate that's coming up and what that would be. So that's in the dark blue area in these columns here. And then you have the Think rates, and it shows you our Think Simple 12 rate, our Think Clean 36 rate, our Think Simple, well, Think Clean 12 rate, the Think Clean 36-month rate, and then the Think Simple 12-month rate. So there's 3 columns there, depending on what we offer. In some markets, we have Think Simple, and some we don't. Then you have a column that shows whether we offer a Think Basic rate as well, and then the community solar category as well. So it'll check off Think Basic if we have a Think Basic offer, and it'll check off community solar if we have community solar in that state. Now, in order to see those rates for Think Basic, because that is a short-term rate where we're buying energy almost on a daily basis and getting a short-term rate when it may be that for short-term rates might be low. So we offer a shorter-term rate at a lower cost whenever we can, so that you can continue to gather customers, right? And then the Think Community Solar, that's just available all the time. You just need to go for those 2 columns. You need to go to the website to see what the details are on that. So let me take a look at, this is I just did a comparison here. I'm in Connecticut. That's where our headquarters are. Here's the Think Energy rate comparison guide for Connecticut. You can see that Eversource has a rate of 8.99. And United Illuminating has a rate of 11.91. And the expiration date, this goes until December 31st of this year. So it started on 7/1, it goes through 12/31. The future residential rate is not known. In the state of Connecticut, the future residential rate gets published at the beginning of November, and for the upcoming year starting January 1st. And then it also gets published in the beginning of May, or sometime in May, for the summer rate. So we'll know that rate in Connecticut coming up. They'll announce a rate, and look, rates are on the rise. We're going to have the same thing happen again. Nothing different's going to happen. Rates are going to go way back up again, just like they did last winter. And then we have our Think rate of 12.5 for our Simple 12, and then our Simple 36 of 12.9. So 12.5 and 12.9 compared to Eversource. So as you can see, those rates are higher. So you initially would say, well, the rate comparison guide shows that our rates are higher than the utility rates. I'm not going to ask someone to be my customer, but we also have the Think Basic rate. And when you go on your website, you have to type in a zip code in that area, and it'll show you the rate. This is the Think Basic rate versus Eversource. We have an 8.77 rate for 5 months. So this is a short-term stopgap rate to get us through this period so that in the new period, when the new rates get announced, we can offer the customer an additional plan at that point. It might be another basic rate, or most likely it will be a Think Simple rate because, again, rates are going to go way, way up this winter, and we are going to have a lot more margin when rates are high. Okay, so right now we're operating on an 8.77 versus 8.99 in, it's kind of disingenuous actually, because it's 8.995. They should actually make it 9.0 according to their own metrics, really, but we'll just leave it at 8.99. But it's 8.77, so we're saving people a little bit of money. Now, what I will point out is that there are some things that you can also well, we'll get to that in a sec, but I wanted to just make note of that in this market. And for people who are in the Eversource Connecticut market, the reason this rate is so low and because United Illuminating is so high is because there's some artificial numbers being factored into this rate. What happened is Eversource, that company, Eversource in Connecticut, they actually jacked up their delivery side of the bill for every customer in Connecticut that are Eversource customers by 1.7 cents. And then they lowered this supply rate and kept it low because they jacked up the delivery side, and they did it for the next 10 months. And so that's just, I'm giving you just an idea. There's a lot of different factors that go into that. So staying up to date on what's happening in your market is a key thing, and reading the press releases from your utility company. That's what I did. That's how I know this. So it's actually a somewhat of an artificial rate because they jacked up the delivery side by 1.7 cents per kilowatt hour and then lowered the supply side. It's a wash, really. And they did it in the guise of, saying, well, we need to collect money because of storm damage that we fixed years ago, and we're just recouping our investment, in creating a more stable infrastructure. Blah, 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 whatever it is, that's fine. But the point is, that's why that rate is so low right now, because there's just this small little hiccup going on in the market. So that's where we are. Now, in your market, you might not have that happening. You might have rates that are very attractive right now and just keep bringing in customers the same way you always did. But in cases where the rate is very, very close and, you're trying to get a customer to jump, to sign up now, we sometimes need to point out value propositions to our customers. And this is what I love about what we're doing. We have a long-term focus to what we're doing. And so you can educate people about long-term rates versus short-term rates. You can talk to them about, hey, listen, there may be times where we're saving you money versus the utility rate. And there may be times where the utility rate, if you stick with us over the long term, the utility rate is going to go, it's going to go up and down like a roller coaster. It's going to go up and down every, 6 months, every 4 months, every year, whatever it is. And if you ride us out with a long-term fixed rate, you'll avoid that roller coaster of volatility. And eventually, we can potentially outpace the utilities, and you don't have to worry about switching your rates all the time. So it's kind of like the stock market. You invest in the stock market. Do you sell every time rates change? No, you hold it because over the long term, you're going to make out better. And we know that over the long term, energy rates are continually going up. They go up and down in the short term, but they're on a general trajectory upward. And so people who ride out a long-term rate are going to make out versus the utility company over time. For people who are more acute and I just want the best rate that I can get, well, then you can do things like factor in the $100 gift card over a 6-month period of time. So let's use an example. Let's say the utility rate is 10 cents and the Think rate is 10 cents. Well, at its face value, a customer would say there's no savings there on our 12-month plan. The utility's 10 cents, Think is 10 cents with a 12-month or 36-month plan. So it's even. Does that mean we're not able to save the customer money? No, because you have to factor in our entire value proposition. We have $100 gift card available for customers who come in at 10 cents, right? And they stay, they pay their bill for 6 months. And over the course of 6 months, let's factor in that $100 gift card. So let's talk about that. If you take $100 and you divide it by 6 months, it comes out to $16.67 a month. That's what you're actually saving them. So you can actually say, I'm going to save you 16. The rate is the same, but I'm going to save you 16.67 a month because you're going to become my customer. I'm going to send you a link and remind you, to get your gift card in 6 months. And you're going to get the gift card. And presto, I just saved you 16.67 a month for 6 months. At an average of the average home in America is about 750 kilowatt hours per month. That gift card brings the effective rate down. If you divide $16.67 by 750 kilowatt hours, you go on your calculator, it will come up and tell you that's 2.2 cents, 2.22 cents per kilowatt hour. So the effective rate with that customer, the utility rate is the same, 10 cents. Our rate is the same, 10 cents. Factor in the gift card, it's like you're taking a 10-cent rate with Think and making it 2.2 cents less. That's 7.8 cents. So our actual value proposition, when you factor in the gift card, and we have more value proposition beyond just a gift card, our real effective rate is 7.8 cents for that 6-month period of time. So why would the customer not go with 7.8 cents? That's the real effective rate. So being smart about how you educate your customers during times when rates might seem like there's not a lot of savings. Educate them to get into your rate cycle now, even though energy savings may not be as high right now. Let's get you into our rate cycle right now. You're going to save a little bit of money. This is what I'm saying to people in Connecticut right now. And I'm just using that as an example. It's July. Customer signs up right now. They'll become our customer and start receiving the new rate from Think maybe in August, but most likely it'll be September. September rolls around, they pay their bill with Think, they're saving a little bit of money, they pay their bill in October, and then November pops up, and guess what? They announce a brand new rate, and the rate goes way, way up. They've only been our customer for a couple months, and then the announcement of the rate comes out. Now they can actually make some decisions, and you can be an advisor to your customer and be like, listen, as soon as we have a longer term rate that gives you a better value proposition than the short term rate I have you on now, I will get that to you. In the meantime, let's stay focused, save a little bit of money, and then we'll save you a lot more. And that's how it'll work over time. And once you get into my rate cycle, our rate cycle, once you get into the flow with us, you'll be saving a little bit in the summer and a lot in the winter. And you'll be very happy because over the course of each year, we're going to be outperforming the utility company. And that's how we've been since we started. Rates will go back up again in the winter like they always do because of natural gas supply and demand. I like to say that to people. Just remind them, you've been paying an electric bill for 20 years, for 10 years, for 30 years, whatever it is. You realize that your rates are higher in the winter and lower in the summer. That's how it's been. I like this as an example too, the 2 gas stations example. We should all have this because this is an example of how someone saves money. They make a conscious decision to save money, and it's a lot less than they're actually saving with what we're doing, but they're doing it anyway. Okay. So it's like this. If you need to fill up your car with gas, you can say this to someone. If you need to fill up your car with gas and you see one gas station on the corner that offers $3.48 a gallon, and right next door is a gas station, or across the street is one with $3.49 a gallon, which one do you go to? Everybody's going to say, yeah, I'm going to go to the 3.48 one. Yeah, of course you are, because it's less. And that's what we are. If we're a little bit less, that's just a very little bit less. But why did you go to that gas station? You went there because it could save you a little bit of money. And that's what we're doing. So if I can save you a little bit of money in the summer and a lot in the winter, would you become my customer? That's it. Then utilize our unique free service that no one else does free energy like we do, you guys. No one does free energy like we do with our free energy club. It's the best thing out there. Go become an electricity customer, refer some customers, and take that 10%, refer 3 customers, and now it's 10% off. You guys, that customer will never leave you. They'll never leave, because getting 10% off of your supply rate permanently, or as long as those customers are referred, that's too good. 40% at 10 referrals and 100% at 20. Guys, this is the best deal going in the whole sector. I like to point out, if I could show you a way that you could refer, 3 to 20 friends of yours and get 10 to 100% off of your cell phone bill, would you do it? Of course they would. Wouldn't it be great if you could get a free cell phone every month? How about free cable? Like, refer 20 customers to cable and you never have to pay for cable again, or internet usage. Or, what if you could get a free insurance for your car by referring 20 people? Can you imagine? That's what we have our hands on, you guys. It's amazing. Imagine if you could refer 20 people to a mortgage, or 20 renters, and not have to pay rent or a mortgage anymore. That's what we have our hands on. And this is what I love to say to customers. See, I say, look, our intention with Think Plus, our intention is not to satisfy our customers. With all the value that we're talking about here, our intention is to amaze our customers. I'm an advisor. I educate you about how energy works. It's lower in the summer, less margins, less savings. It's higher in the winter, more savings, more margins. But then we have gift cards, and then we also have our free energy club to make it irrelevant what the rate is. You guys realize that once you've referred 3 or more customers, you don't even care what your rate is anymore, because you're always going to outpace the utility and you'll never leave. Here's another thing. Offer community solar where available. I mean, it's 20 years of savings. It's like guaranteed savings. It can't change. It's in addition to the supply rate savings in almost every one of our markets. And then combine that small savings on electricity supply with the larger savings from community solar, like people are doing in Massachusetts right now. We're saving people. We're saving people in Massachusetts. Yeah, we're saving people like 30% on their electric bill. And then we can save them 10 to 20% on their supply bill. I mean, on their with community solar across their supply and delivery. You can combine these small savings to show them that there's a larger savings. Imagine in a market where, I wish we had it in Connecticut, but in markets where there's a smaller savings, but there's also community solar, like Illinois. Smaller savings, but community solar. When you add the two together, it's a larger savings. So by bundling the discount, getting both services together and bundling, you end up saving more money across the board. You guys realize this too, that getting 10% off on your supply and delivery, like you can get in most of our markets from community solar, all the markets except for Illinois, which is delivery only, but getting 10% off of your supply and delivery is the equivalent of getting 20% off of your supply. Okay, that is a lot of money. Okay, we were doing the math with some people last night in Worcester, and when we were talking about 10% savings, somebody said, well, what does that equate to over 20 years? Well, it's very simple. The average bill is over $200. It's $225 a month in the state of Massachusetts. And so if you're saving on the supply and delivery portion of a $225 electric bill, that's a $200 is the supply and delivery. You're saving $20 a month. Multiply that by 20 years, so that's 240 months. You're talking $4,800 worth of savings. So when you reach out to someone in Massachusetts or any state, 10% savings, you're talking about saving them almost $5,000 for a 2-minute transaction that doesn't cost them anything. Why would you not want the $5,000? You could put that money, $20 away, every month, and turn $5,000 over the course of 20 years into $10,000 or $20,000. I mean, it could help pay for kids' college funds. It could help. There's lots of things that it could do. And if you're getting 20 or 25% savings, that's like 10 to 20. That's like $10,000 to $15,000 worth of savings, you guys. over the course of 20 years. That's no joke. That's a lot of money. So ask them to take a look at the business side. Here's another value add. Not only can we save you money, but we are unique in an area where we can have you become one of our partners. You can become an advisor with us and tell other people about it, and not only save money and get free energy, but make money every time people use electricity. So they may know people in other states where savings is temporarily more pronounced, especially if they would like to go after free energy. You should make them an advisor. And that's why you want to build a balanced business. You don't want to build your business in one state only, because if rates get slim at that moment and you're only building in that state, well, that's okay. But if you are building nationally, thinking locally, but building nationally, then every state, most states are going to be good most of the time. They're going to be better at certain times. And sure, you're going to have speed ups and slowdowns, but I can tell you that if you build a national business and you're always looking for people in all of our markets, then you'll ride out, the ups and downs when rates get close in certain states. So you guys, that's what we've got. Wanted to share that with you. Let's get to some Q&A. If anybody has a question, feel free to put it into the chat. If you want to raise your hand, you can certainly do that as well. We'll take verbal questions. Paul, in some markets, PA, for instance, the basic plan has a monthly fee, which we need to be aware of when we do a comparison. Yes, it does. And there's a trade-off there. So when you get sophisticated like that and you can educate people about fees, just like we showed, hey, if you're saving $16.67 per month and you divide that by 750 kilowatt hours, it's 2.2 cents per kilowatt hour. If you're saving somebody, if you have a plan where a Think Basic plan, has a rate, a fee attached to it, but it's a super low rate, like 6 cents a kilowatt hour versus the utility at 10 or 9, and yours is 6. You have to factor in, well, listen, I'm advising you, it's 6 cents a kilowatt hour, and they are 10 cents a kilowatt hour, the utility. But we have a $14 a month fee. Let's factor in the average 750 kilowatt hours, divide $14 by 750. It'll tell you what the differential is there. And you say, well, your rate is 6 cents, but your $14 a month or $10 a month or $4 a month, whatever it is, that's going to add 1 cent per kilowatt hour or 2 cents per kilowatt hour to the 6 rate. So you're being upfront with them and honest about it. So that means your 6 rate is actually 8. That's much better than 10, including the fee. So we have a much better value proposition. Plus we have the free energy club. Plus if we have community solar in certain states, we have all of that. And you can be an advisor. So yeah, we have the ability, if you understand what you're talking, and you become an advisor to people. And look, the more kilowatt hours you use on those plans, that's why people love those plans in places like Pennsylvania. When you come across someone's bill and they're using 2,000 kilowatt hours a month, they would be first of all, they'd be foolish. If they're using more than 300 kilowatt hours a month, it would be foolish for them not to go with that 6-month plan with the fee. It's a better value proposition. You just have to educate them about it. And then it's a great value to them. And they'll sit there and say, well, maybe I'll turn the air conditioning. I had somebody in Pennsylvania that they said when they figured it out and they realized that a $14 fee with a 6 cent rate, they realized that, my gosh, I can run my air conditioner way more than I ever normally would, which is what I really want to do. But the rates are so high, I can't. But now because the rate is lower and I've already eaten up that $14.95 fee at 8 cents, that means that, after I've already eaten up that fee, I'm now paying 6 cents a kilowatt hour after factoring in the fee. So it's like, I'm just going to keep my air conditioner on a lot more and be more comfortable. Thank you, Think Energy. Thank you for creating that plan for me. So that's what we have. We have plans that, people can utilize to help them zig and zag, and help you zig and zag to amaze your customers, not just satisfy them. So Moish, what happens after 6 months? After 6 months, after any of our plans, what happens at the end? The great news there is we don't have any variable rates. So all of our customers in all of our markets, except for the state of New York, where when you become an electricity customer, if you don't choose a new rate at the end of the plan, you go right back to the utility. You default right back to the utility. All right. In most of our almost every other state, we put the customer gets reminded anywhere from 30 to 60 days out. They get reminded by Think Energy according to the regulations in that state. Sometimes it's in the mail, sometimes it's email, sometimes it's both. And that's how it works. And so what happens is you take that, they get whatever rate they want. They can choose any rate they want. They call up Think Energy. Everything that's publicly available is there for them. If they don't choose a rate, and this is not for New York, but if they don't choose a rate elsewhere, they get put onto a 12-month fixed plan. No variable rate fall off fees, none of this bait and switch thing where, oh, we're going to jack the rate up 4 times what it was. Sure, we got you in at 7 cents a kilowatt hour, but now that you didn't renew, we're going to put you on 28 cents. We don't do any of that. We don't have variable rates. All right. So that's what happens. We have the best policy that I've ever seen in the energy sector. I've been in the energy space, in the electricity space for 12 years. This is the best policy that I've ever seen anywhere. And it's all because of the experience that we have, Mike Falquist at the helm, and the way we do business. We're looking to keep our customers. We're not just looking to satisfy them. We're looking to amaze our customers. All right. So Janice, please discuss the impact on points and commission when a client is placed on a basic plan. So you still get points. You still get points for basic plan customers. They're the same as any other customer. If it's a band 1, it's 1 point. If it's a band 2, it's 2 points. If it's a band 3, it's 3 points. If it's right now during the promotion and they're a 1-point customer, then it's a 2-point customer. So that's how it works. Basic plan for commissions. We get, let me just make sure I have that. Yes. So you get the regular bonus when the customer comes in. So it's $20. If you bring in a non-basic plan customer, it's $20. If you bring in a basic plan customer, it's $20. The only difference is there's no residual income on the Think Basic plan because we've brought that price way, way down low to help you acquire the customer and get the customer acquisition bonus fully. And then you won't get residuals during that time frame, but as soon as they move to the next plan that comes up, like the next winter or whatever it is, and they move on to a non-basic plan, which is generally what happens, then they move into the residual for you as well. So that's how it works. So points are all the same, nothing changes there. Bonuses, cabs are all the same, nothing changes there. We just don't get residual on them, but we get the point. We can get double points even, and it accounts for you getting promoted to the next rank, just like any customer does. So Carol, is a customer eligible for the free energy club if they are a basic customer? The answer is yes, they absolutely are. So it does not matter how they come in as a customer. They can participate in the free energy club. And customers that are commercial customers can participate in the free energy club as well, just like churches can. Small commercial customers can participate in the free energy club. You just have to make sure that they're aware that it has a cap of $2,000, just like the electricity customers, the residential customers. All right, so just to give you an idea there. Mandy, in Illinois, ComEd's rate are at 5.39, and we have a 7.90 rate on a 12-month. How do you approach this? Well, I would look to see if we have, and I don't know if we have a Think Basic rate there. If we don't, then you're going to have to say, hey, listen, right now we can't help you out. Why would you save them more? Why would you sign them up if it's more? But look for the Think Basic rate, look at the 7.90 rate. And I say, okay, well, when you look at that and there's a $100 gift card attached on it, that 7.90 rate is now 2.22 cents less. So the 7.90 rate is actually 5 point, whatever it is, 68. So that's what you're actually comparing to on that 12-month plan. I don't know that we have a Think Basic rate in Illinois right now. I just haven't looked myself personally, but go on the Think Rate comparison guide and see. Maybe there's a basic rate that can help you out there. I doubt it. I don't know. I don't know that we have a 5-cent rate for that, but you can also see when rates are going to change, and you can educate your customer in that way. So if rates are going to change in just a couple months, and it takes a couple months to get onto a new rate, and you know it's going from 5.3 to 9.9, boom, it's time to get them signed up, because it takes a couple months to get on to our rate plan anyway. So yeah, it's definitely. So will the agent be notified as well as when the customer rate expires? You can see that on your personal customer report. So you will not be notified, because that's there's like privacy issues. Like, I mean, once a customer becomes a customer, yeah, there's different things, about that. Where we can do that, it could happen, but right now you don't get notified, the customer does. All right, so the customer gets notified, but we have a catch-all policy here. The customer is not going to get put onto a variable rate, and you can always look up your customers in the back office to see when they're coming up for expiration. So that's what you should do. You should be on top of your customers, definitely. You should be reminding yourself, definitely, in that. Where we can, we'll look into doing that, but there's sometimes we're not allowed to do that because there's different regulations in each state, and we have to follow that. Mark. We just talked about that. So that's the same question. Let's see. If they're under 3,600 kilowatt hours, Lindsay, do we still get a point? If they're band 0, we do not get a point. So we just changed that policy in our favor. So before we made the change, so in June, let's say, in June, when you had a customer that was a band 0 under 3,600 kilowatt hours for electricity, you would not get a point. It would be a band 0. It would not count as a point. Okay, that's what the policy was for quite a while. The new policy, and this is in our favor because it makes us get more than almost 65%, roughly, more points across the board. We get 1 point for a band 1. In June, or earlier than June, since we started, we were getting 1 point for a band 2, 1 point for a band 3, 1 point for a band 4. Everything above band 0 was 1 point. Now, band 1 is 1 point, band 2 is 2 points, band 3 is 3 points, band 4 is 4 points. You bring in a band 7 customer during double point promotion right now, and you get 14 points for one customer. That having those points, 2, 3, 4, 5 points for band 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that gives us more points across the board than if we kept it the way it was and gave 1 point for band 1, which is what we were for band 0, which is what we were doing for a little while. And now it's moved to band 0, no point, but we get more points for the other. And when you factor those in, it equates to 65% more points for customers across the board. So keep signing up customers the way you normally do. You're not going to get points for the band 0, but you're going to get a ton of points for band 2s and 3s, and it's going to more than offset the band 0s. So you're happy to take the band 0s and you'll sign them up. You're just not going to make, you're not going to make any money on them, but you're going to make a lot more money on all the other customers because you're going to get more points, you're going to promote faster, and you're going to get higher residuals as well. What is the 9-minute video address? So it's actually a 7-minute video address, Bruce. So I'll put this into the chat so that everybody has it for now. And we're going to update this because we just made some updates, and we had to wait for the updates to be in effect and then record a new video, and it'll be shorter than 9 minutes, but it's a 7-minute video. It's actually 6 minutes and I think 57 seconds, but it's bit.ly/thinkfast535. All right, thinkfast535. So I just put that in the chat. Load that into your app. Go into your app, follow the instructions. The app, your Think Plus Connect app, teaches you how to add this video so you can share it. So take that link, add it to your app, and when we have a new video, it'll automatically appear at that link. So just save that link in your app, add it. All right. So let's see, Mark, the rate, the ComEd rate is actually 0.068, and we have a rate of 0.063. Thank you for that, Mark. I knew there was something going on. So yeah, ComEd is 0.068. I was just actually looking at that while I was talking, looking on my phone. ComEd's rate is 0.063, and we are 0.063. That's, I think, our Think Basic rate. But then you could look at the 12-month rate at 7.9 and take 2.2 cents off on it. And that's actually the best value for the customer. So I would, if it was me, I would put the customer on a 12-month rate with the $100 gift card and educate them that they're getting a 5.68 effective rate by factoring in the gift card. Then help them go get free energy and community solar. And now you'll never lose the customer. And now you've amazed your customer. You haven't just satisfied your customer. You guys, that's how this works. It's a lot of fun when you know what you're doing, okay? We are advisors. We get paid a lot of money to advise customers. We're not just robots going around and saying, we have a rate, would you like the rate versus your rate? That's not what we're doing. We're educating people and advising them. That's why we call ourselves advisors. We don't call ourselves salespeople. We call ourselves advisors because we learn and we educate and we make money upfront and long-term for doing it. And if you take these principles into and put them in effect in your group, then you are going to be able to quickly build a big team. It does open bit.ly/thinkfast535. It does open. If you take that, it will open. You may have to put a www next to it, or you're probably searching for it. But bit.ly/thinkfast535. It definitely works. I'm gonna do it right now just to make sure, because we'll do this in real time. I'm gonna go on to my browser on my phone, bit.ly/. I'm going to actually type it in instead of just using my saved link on my phone. There we go. And there it is. It pops up and there it goes. So you're having some kind of an issue with your browser or your device, or you're searching for it instead of typing it into your web address bar and hitting enter. Don't search for it. It won't come up. If you Google it, it won't come up. You have to type it into your address bar. All right, yeah, I know. For some reason, this doesn't allow it to copy, so you just have to deal with it. I know chat, for some reason, I don't know why, there's a setting there, maybe I have to fix it or whatever, but you can't copy it. But yeah, bit.ly/thinkfast535. And if you can't find it there, it's in our Facebook group. It's also in our Telegram channel. All right, everybody, I'm going to let everybody get back to their day. I appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule. We'll post this into our YouTube channel so you can watch it again and again and again. This is Tony Procopio from New Fairfield, Connecticut. Over and out, everybody. Have a great day, and we will talk to you soon.